Hello folks and welcome back. It's Eerie Storytime. Today our journey takes us back to England for a look into another eerie urban legend. Drivers on Dartmoor's lonely roads have felt it, an invisible force yanking the wheel, steering them toward doom. Locals blame the hairy hands, a chilling legend of disembodied menace. But what are these phantom limbs, and who, or what, controls them? Are you ready for a peek into the shadows at the legend of the hairy hands of Dartmoor? There are places on this planet that feel ancient where the modern world fades away. Dartmoor is one of them. It's a windswept expanse in Devon, England, marked by granite tors jutting from the earth and a patchwork of heather and bog. The landscape is raw, untamed, and shrouded in unpredictable weather. One moment sunlight, the next a thick, disorienting fog that turns familiar landmarks into menacing silhouettes. In this eerie setting, some of England's most chilling legends were born. Dartmoor is a land of prehistoric stone circles, Bronze Age burial mounds, and stories of convicts lost to the moors. Every rock and stream seems to whisper tales of pixies, ghosts, and spectral hounds. But one legend stands out, a modern terror that feels as ancient as the stones themselves. It doesn't haunt a castle or a ruin, but a lonely stretch of road. A tale of something monstrous lurking in the fog, waiting for unsuspecting travelers. It's a story that sends a shiver down the spine of even hardened skeptics. It speaks of a malevolent force that targets travelers, its only sign a pair of disembodied, hairy hands. These aren't just more campfire tales, they're accounts of real encounters, some ending in tragedy. What is it about this place that breeds such fear? And what really lies in wait on the moor when the fog rolls in? Let's peek into the shadows and see what we can find out. The legend began in the early 20th century, as automobiles brought new freedom and new fears to Dartmoor. In 1921, a doctor from Dartmoor prison was riding his motorcycle with his children in the sidecar along the B3212. Suddenly he felt his handlebars wrenched by an unseen force, as if strong, rough hands clamped over his own. He lost control and crashed, but miraculously, all survived. There was no obstacle, no other vehicle, just an invisible assailant. Soon, more reports surfaced from the same stretch of road. An army captain claimed a pair of hairy, disembodied hands appeared over his own, forcing him off the road. The legend grew. It wasn't a single freak event, but a terrifying pattern. Local newspapers picked up the story, and the hairy hands of Dartmoor became a national sensation. The hands were described as large, muscular, and covered in coarse, dark hair, appearing out of nowhere, intent on causing a crash. The motive and origin were mysteries, but the danger felt real. Something was stalking this lonely road, targeting the pioneers of the automotive age. The legend took hold, and fear spread. Was it a ghost, a curse, or something else entirely? The only certainty seemed to be that travelers on the road were not alone. The story became a warning: drive carefully or risk a brush with the unknown. The hairy hands legend was born, and it wouldn't let go. Even skeptics found themselves glancing nervously at the road ahead. The moor had a new menace, and it was unlike anything before. The age of the automobile had met its first supernatural adversary, and the moor's silence was never quite the same. The legend was here to stay. The reports kept coming, each more chilling than the last. It wasn't just motorcyclists. Drivers and even campers had terrifying encounters. One couple saw a hairy hand crawling up their windshield, fighting to keep control of their car. In another report, a woman camping nearby awoke to see a disembodied hairy hand crawling around outside her camp. Its long fingers appeared to be feeling around for a way in. Paralyzed with fear, she watched until it vanished, then fled Dartmoor the next morning. These weren't vague feelings. The witnesses described similar encounters with strong, hairy hands, seemingly with malicious intent. Another report was from a bus driver who nearly lost control when something tried to wrench the steering wheel from his grip. The consistency in these accounts was startling to the authorities. Time and again, people described the same terrifying entity. The hairy hands were no longer just a rumor. They were being viewed as a real, active threat in the minds of those who traveled the moor. The legend was alive, and the fear was spreading. As the stories multiplied, fear took hold of the community. The road near Postbridge became notorious. Locals were starting to avoid it whenever they could, especially after dark. Superstition flourished. Drivers recited prayers, carried charms, or made the sign of the cross for protection. The legend became part of local identity, a dark secret woven into daily life. The psychological impact was immense. Parents warned children, and every accident was blamed on the phantom hands. Real crashes, some fatal, further fueled the fear. The hairy hands became the explanation for every tragedy on that lonely road. The community clung to the legend as a way to make sense of the senseless. The moor's wildness was no longer just beautiful, it had become dangerous, unpredictable, and haunted. The legend shaped how people saw the landscape and themselves. The road became a symbol of the unknown, lurking just beyond the edge of civilization. The hairy hands were as real as the fog and the stones. Dartmoor was gripped by a fear that was both supernatural and tragically real. With a legend this persistent, theories abound. Some say the hands belong to a vengeful ghost, perhaps a miner or laborer who died on the road. Others blamed an ancient curse, some guardian spirit angered by modern machines. More earthly explanations suggest a madman or prankster or even an escapee from Dartmoor prison. Skeptics point to the road's dangerous design, narrow, winding with a sloping camber that pulls vehicles off course. Fog and fatigue can play tricks on the mind, turning shadows into monsters. Some proposed magnetic anomalies or atmospheric pressure as culprits. The truth was likely some mix of all of that. The treacherous road, wild weather, and the power of a terrifying story. But for those who felt the grip, rational explanations offer little comfort. The Hairy Hands legend didn't stay confined to Dartmoor. It became a staple of ghost books, TV shows, and documentaries. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the moor, hoping to catch a glimpse of the phantom assailant. The story's chilling imagery made it perfect for horror fiction and pop culture. Writers and filmmakers adapted the idea of an unseen force taking control of vehicles, a modern fear. The legend became a tourist attraction, drawing ghost hunters and thrill seekers to the area. The Hairy Hands are now part of Dartmoor's brand, a piece of dark tourism. The story endures, captivating new generations. It's become far more than a simple ghost story. It's a cultural landmark. The moor's mists and stones now share space with a legend that refuses to die. After a century of stories and investigations, the Hairy Hands remain an enigma. Eyewitnesses speak of terror. Skeptics point to road design and fog. Unfortunately, there are more theories and speculation than cold, hard facts. The legend itself endures because it taps into our fear of the unknown and loss of control. Dartmoor is a place where old rules still apply and legends thrive. The Hairy Hands have become a modern myth, adapting with the times. They remind us that some mysteries can't be explained away. Whether you lean toward the belief in ghosts, or more toward the dangerous roads theory, the legend keeps us cautious and respectful of the wild all the same. Out there, the unknown is never too far away. The Hairy Hands maintain their grip on our imagination, and on Dartmoor itself. Some legends live on not because they're factually true, but because they feel true. That does it for today's delve into the shadows of England's Hairy Hands of Dartmoor legend. Has anyone out there ever been in the Dartmoor area and experienced anything like what the witnesses described? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for joining me on another look into eerie stories, legends, and folklore. I hope you enjoyed today's topic. Please like and subscribe to help us spread our stories to more and more viewers. Be careful out there, we've got all the videos to show the world can be a scary place. Until next time.